Ambassador Jum Kim walked into the Grand Hall of the Galactic Confederation with his head held high. The room was filled with beings from 100 different worlds. Some had scales, others had tentacles. Some floated above the ground, while others moved on many legs. Jum was the only human in the room. Again. "Ambassador Kim, how nice of Earth to send someone," said Vextra, the tall, blue-skinned Vestran representative. His voice had that familiar tone, the one that sounded polite but wasn't. "We were about to start without you." "The meeting was moved up an hour without notice," Jun said calmly. "Yet I still managed to arrive on time." Vextra waved a long, six-fingered hand. "Details, details. Please, take your seat, the small one at the end." June nodded and walked to his chair. It was indeed smaller than the others, and placed at the far end of the table, away from where the real decisions would be made. This was not new. For nearly 20 years since Earth had joined the Confederation, humans had been treated this way. Minna Park, his young aide, stood behind him. She leaned down and whispered, "That's the third time this month they've changed a meeting time without telling us." "Patience," June whispered back. "We've endured worse." The meeting began with the usual topics. The Vestrans wanted more mining rights on outer planets. The Nerites, ancient and slow-moving beings, talked about star maps. The small bird-like Kaldorians argued for new trade routes. Then came the part June was waiting for. "Next, we will discuss the human application to build a research station near Proxima Centauri," announced the head counselor. Vextra stood up immediately. "The Vestran Empire has concerns. Humans have only been spacefaring for a short time. They lack the maturity for such an important project." "We've been in space for over 300 years," Jum said evenly. "And the research station would benefit all species with its climate repair technologies." A Ferian representative, thin and pale, tilted his head. "The humans do have impressive environmental science." "Too impressive," Vextra said with a cold smile. "We must wonder where such advancement comes from. Perhaps they need more oversight, not less." June felt a flash of anger, but kept his face calm. This was how it always went. Any human progress was treated as suspicious. Any human request was denied or delayed. "The Council votes to delay the human application for 1 standard year," the head counselor announced. No real vote had taken place. Later, walking back to the Earth Embassy, Minna could not stay silent anymore. "They steal our ideas, block our projects, and talk to us like children. How long will we keep smiling and bowing to them?" June stopped walking and looked up at the artificial sky of the Confederation capital station. 3 suns shone down, none of them Earth's. "Earth has been patient for strategic reasons, Minna. We are newcomers in a very old galaxy. We smile because right now we must." "The message from President Kang this morning didn't sound patient," Minna said quietly. "He said Earth's government is tired of being pushed around." June nodded slowly. "Yes, even the most patient have their limits." His communicator beeped. The message made his eyes widen. "What is it?" Minna asked. "A Vestran mining fleet has entered orbit around one of our colony worlds without permission," Jum said, his voice tight. "They claim it was a navigational error." "And you believe that?" "No," Jun said. For the first time that day, his diplomatic mask slipped, showing the anger beneath. "No, I don't." As they entered the embassy, Jun received another message, this one encrypted from Earth Command. He read it and took a deep breath. "Tell the staff to prepare for extended negotiations," he told Minna, "and send a private message to our military attaché. Code phrase, Gathering Storm." "What does that mean?" Minna asked. June looked at her with tired eyes. "It means human patience has a countdown." And the timer just started. Captain Taho Lee stood on a hill overlooking what used to be a green valley. Now it was a massive pit. Alien machines dug deep into the earth of New Buzan, the human colony world. The machines hummed and clanked as they pulled out the rare metals that made this planet valuable. "They've been at it for 3 weeks," said his second-in-command. "The Vesterans claim they have permission." "They don't," Tahoe said, his voice hard. He took pictures with his datapad. "This is 10 miles beyond their approved zone. And look there." He pointed to a pile of waste material. It leaked a blue liquid that killed the plants it touched. "That's against every rule in the treaty," Tahoe said. "Get samples. Document everything." Back on his ship, Tahoe sent all the evidence to Earth Command. Then he did something that was not in the rulebook. He flew his small patrol vessel directly over the mining operation. The Vestran guards looked up in surprise. Tahoe opened a communication channel. "This is Captain Lee of Earth Defense. You are in violation of treaty borders. Your waste disposal methods are illegal. You have 48 hours to clean up and leave this area." The Vestran site manager laughed. His blue face filled Tahoe's screen. "Or what, human? Your kind makes threats but never acts. We know your ships carry minimal weapons. The metals here are ours now." Tahoe ended the call without another word. The Vestran was right about one thing. His ship had few weapons. But the manager was wrong about everything else. 3 days later, Dr. Hannah Choi sat in her lab on Earth, watching a news report. Her hands balled into fists as the screen showed a Vestran company announcing a breakthrough in energy technology. "That's my work," she whispered. "My exact design." 6 months ago, she had shared her research at a Confederation science conference. The Vestrans had shown little interest then. Now they had copied everything. The special chamber design, the unique way it controlled energy flow, even the safety systems she had created. Her assistant, Jun, put a cup of tea on her desk. "We can file a complaint with the Confederation Patent Office." Hannah laughed bitterly. "Like the last 3 times. The Farians stole my terraforming method. The Kaldorians took my water purification system. Each time, the patent office said the same thing: not enough proof of theft." Her computer beeped with an incoming message. It was from Earth Defense, marked urgent and confidential. Hannah opened it and read quickly. "What is it?" Jun asked. "They want all my research on defensive applications," Hannah said, surprised. "Everything I've kept back from the conferences. They're especially interested in how my energy system could power weapons." Jun looked concerned. "You always said you wouldn't use your work for military purposes." Hannah stared at the screen, thinking of all the times her work had been stolen, how the other species took human advances without giving credit, how the rules always seemed to work against Earth. "Things change," she said quietly. "Send them everything." On the Confederation capital station, Ambassador Jun Kim faced the full council again. On the large screen behind him were images of the illegal Vestran mining operation on New Buzan. "The evidence is clear," Jun said. "Treaty violations, environmental damage, refusing to leave when notified." The Vestran representative waved a dismissive hand. "A simple misunderstanding of border markers. We have already moved our operation. The matter is closed." "And the environmental damage?" Jun asked. "Minimal. It will heal in a few decades." The council head nodded. "Then we consider this issue resolved." Jun stood very still. His face showed nothing, but something had changed in his eyes. "No," he said, "Earth does not consider this resolved." A murmur ran through the room. Humans rarely contradicted the council's decisions. Ambassador Kim, the council head, said with surprise, "This is most irregular." "So is the constant theft of human technology," Jun replied. "So is the destruction of our environments. So is the disrespect shown to our people." The room went very quiet. "These are serious accusations," the Vestran representative said coldly. Jun smiled for the first time that day. It was not a happy smile. "They are not accusations," he said. "They are warnings." As Jun walked out of the chamber, his communicator buzzed. The message was simple: Project Thunderstorm is go. The science vessel Curiosity floated peacefully near Jupiter. 40 scientists worked inside, studying the giant planet's storms. They had been there for 3 months and were due to return to Earth next week. None of them would make it home. Lieutenant Sang Ma-yoon was on monitor duty when she saw it, a Vestran warship coming out of faster-than-light travel. It appeared suddenly, much too close to the science vessel. "Captain," she called out. "Vestran ship at 2 kilometers and closing fast." Captain Han tried to open communications. "Vestran vessel, this is Earth science ship Curiosity. You are dangerously close. Please adjust your course." There was no answer. "They're not slowing down," Sang Mai said, her voice shaking. 30 seconds to impact. Captain Han hit the emergency alarm. "All hands brace for." The Vestran warship slammed into the Curiosity at high speed. The science vessel cracked open like an egg. Air, equipment, and bodies spilled into space. In less than a minute, all 147 humans aboard were dead. President Jin Woo-kang sat very still as he watched the recording. It had come from a small defense satellite near Jupiter. The room was silent. The 12 men and women of Earth's Security Council waited for him to speak. Finally, he looked up. "The Vestrans are claiming it was an accident." General Park nodded. "They say their navigation system failed. They've sent deepest regrets to the Confederation Council." "Regrets," the president repeated. The word hung in the air. "And what does the council say?" "They've accepted the Vestran explanation. They suggest we accept the standard compensation for accidents in space." President Kang stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at Seoul, rebuilt after the wars that had united Earth. Humanity had come so far. They had overcome their own divisions. They had reached for the stars with hope. And what had they found there? Disrespect, theft, and now death. "Show me Project Thunderstorm," he said quietly. The lights dimmed. A 3D map appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth's solar system, but not as the Confederation knew it. Hidden bases glowed in the asteroid belt. Secret shipyards appeared behind moons. Weapon platforms emerged from inside gas giants. For 20 years, while smiling and bowing to the Confederation, humanity had been building in secret. "Status report," the president said. Defense Minister Yoon stepped forward. "All ships are ready. Hidden bases are fully operational. Our new weapons have been tested and proven effective. And our special forces." Colonel Jia Kwan reports his teams can deploy at 1 hour's notice. The president nodded and returned to his chair. He looked at each council member in turn. "For 20 years, we have played the part of the patient newcomers," he said. "We have absorbed insults. We have watched our ideas be stolen. We have accepted unfair treatment, all because we needed time. Time to study their technology, time to build our strength, time to prepare." He touched a control, and the image of the destroyed Curiosity appeared. 147 scientists. People who wanted to learn, to explore. Dead because the Vestrans know they can treat us however they want without consequences. He closed his eyes for a moment. "My daughter was on that ship," he said softly. The room went very still. No one had known. She was studying Jupiter's atmosphere. She believed in a future where all species worked together for knowledge. When he opened his eyes, they were hard as stone. "We've been patient long enough," he said. "Activate Project Thunderstorm." Defense Minister Yoon pressed her hand to a scanner. Thunderstorm activation requires confirmation by 3 council members. General Park placed his hand on the scanner next. Second confirmation. The room was silent as everyone waited. Foreign Minister Lee stood up slowly. "Are we certain?" he asked. "Once we do this, the Confederation will never see humans the same way again." "That," said the president, "is exactly the point." Minister Lee nodded and placed his hand on the scanner. Third confirmation. Project Thunderstorm is now active. Across the solar system, hidden systems came online. Secret ships powered up. Soldiers moved to battle stations. Earth was done being patient. Commander Su Jin-yoon stood on the bridge of the Shadow, a ship that officially did not exist. Around her, crew members moved with purpose, checking systems that no alien had ever seen. The Shadow was hidden in the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Neptune. It was one of 50 such ships, all built in secret during the 20 years humans had been part of the Confederation. Status report. Su Jin ordered. All systems ready. Commander, her first officer replied. The other ships report ready as well. Su Jin nodded. Show me the fleet. The main screen lit up, showing dots of light against the darkness of space. 50 warships, each more advanced than anything Earth had officially admitted to building. They had been hidden behind moons, inside hollowed-out asteroids, and in the clouds of gas giants. Now they were moving into formation. Send the signal, Su Jin said. Operation Wake Up begins now. 5 years earlier, engineer Hyun-Ki Ba had stood before Earth's Security Council with an idea. The aliens think our technology is simple, he had told them. They think we are still learning. This gives us an advantage. What advantage? Someone had asked. They don't watch us carefully, Hyun-Ki had explained. They think we can only build basic ships and weapons, so we can build better ones in secret. Now, Hyun-Ki stood in his lab deep beneath the lunar surface. Before him was his life's work, weapons that no one in the Confederation would believe humans could create. Final testing complete, his assistant reported. All systems exceed expectations. Hyun-Ki smiled. For years, he had shown the aliens only his simplest ideas. He had watched them steal even those and claim them as their own. All while he worked here, building something far beyond their imagination. Begin loading the weapons onto the ships, he ordered. It's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. 12 hours after Project Thunderstorm activated, Captain Tai-Ho Lee received new orders. He was to take his small patrol ship to the edge of human space and wait. Wait for what? He asked his second-in-command. The orders don't say, she replied. Just that we'll know it when we see it. They had been waiting for 6 hours when space itself seemed to tear open. A ship appeared, but not like any ship Tai-Ho had ever seen. It was sleek and dark, 3 times the size of his patrol vessel, with no visible engines. Unknown ship, identify yourself, Tai-Ho said into the comm system, following standard procedure. The reply shocked him. Captain Lee, this is Commander Su Jin-yoon of the Earth Defense Ship Shadow. Your new orders are being transmitted now. Earth Defense Ship. Tai-Ho whispered. I've never heard of such a class. His screen filled with information. As he read, his eyes grew wider. Is this real? He asked when Commander Yoon's face appeared on his screen. Very real, she said. For 20 years, we showed the aliens only what we wanted them to see. While they were laughing at our primitive technology, we were studying theirs and building something better. But how? The resources needed. Remember those mining colonies that kept having production problems? Those minerals weren't lost. They were diverted. The energy research that seemed to go nowhere. It went here. She gestured around her at the advanced bridge of her ship. Tai-Ho looked down at his new orders again. This says I'm to join a fleet gathering near Saturn. A human fleet of 50 warships. Commander Yoon nodded. That's just Group 1. There are 2 more groups elsewhere in the system. 3 fleets. Tai-Ho felt dizzy. The Confederation thinks we have only a dozen defensive ships total. That was the point. Su Jin said. We needed time to build our strength. We needed them to underestimate us. And now, Su Jin's face grew serious. Now we show them who we really are. The Curiosity and her crew will be avenged. But first, we're going to send a message. What kind of message? The kind that no species in the galaxy will ever forget. She looked at him steadily. Set course for Saturn, Captain. It's time to show the galaxy that human patience has run out. As Tai-Ho's ship followed the shadow toward Saturn, He thought about all the years of insults and disrespect, all the stolen ideas, all the unfair treaties, all that was about to change. Colonel Zhao Quan moved through space in a suit that made him nearly invisible. Behind him, 20 soldiers did the same. They floated silently toward the Vestran military base on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The Vestrans had built this base 3 years ago. They claimed it was for scientific research. Earth knew better. It was a listening post that spied on human communications. It was also against the treaty, which said that Jupiter and its moons were human territory. When Earth had complained, the Confederation Council had ignored them. Now, that was about to change. Team 1 in position, Jay said quietly into his helmet mic. Team 2 ready, came the reply. Team 3 standing by, said another voice. Jay checked his weapon. It was not designed to kill. That was not the mission today. Begin operation, he ordered. The 3 teams moved toward the base from different directions. The Vestrans had good security, motion sensors, heat detectors, and armed guards. But they had never faced anything like the stealth technology Hyum-Ki Ba had created. The human soldiers passed through the security grid without triggering a single alarm. Inside the base, a Vestran commander was speaking to his troops. The humans are making unusual movements in their system, he said, but there is nothing to worry about. Their ships are primitive and few. If they try anything foolish, we will. The lights went out. When emergency power came on 10 seconds later, 20 human soldiers stood in the room, weapons pointed at the Vestrans. Zhao Quan stepped forward. This base is now under human control, he said calmly. No one needs to be hurt. Please put your hands up. The Vestran commander stared in shock. How did you get in here? Our sensors. Your sensors didn't see us, Jay said. Just like you've never really seen what humans can do. Across the base, other Vestrans were having the same experience. In less than 5 minutes, the entire facility was secured without a single shot fired. Joe walked to the main communication system. He inserted a small device and pressed a button. What are you doing? The Vestran commander demanded. Sending a message, Jay replied. On the Confederation capital station, Ambassador Jung Kim sat in his office. He was preparing to leave. Most of the embassy staff had already gone back to Earth, following quiet orders sent 3 days earlier. His screen lit up with an urgent message from the council. Jun smiled slightly. Right on time. When he entered the council chamber, it was in chaos. Representatives from a dozen species were shouting at each other. On the main screen was an image of the Vestran base on Europa, now flying an Earth flag. Ambassador Kim, the council head, called when he saw Jun. What is the meaning of this? Your military has attacked a Vestran facility. Jun walked calmly to the center of the room. The shouting died down as all eyes turned to him. 3 years ago, he said clearly, Earth filed a formal complaint about this illegal base in our territory. The council dismissed our concerns. Today, we have taken back what is ours. This is an act of war, the Vestran representative shouted. No, Jun said. It is law enforcement. Not a single Vestran was harmed. They are being transported back to their home world as we speak. You had no right. The council head began. We had every right. Jun cut in. His voice remained calm, but there was a new strength in it. What we lacked until now was the will to use that right. He looked around the room. For 20 years, humanity has been patient. We have followed your rules. We have accepted your judgments. Even when they were unfair, we have watched our people and our ideas be treated with disrespect. Jun's eyes were cold as he continued. That ends today. The illegal base on Europa was just the beginning. Earth now demands a full review of all treaties and agreements with the Confederation. Or what? The Vestran representative sneered. Jun smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Or you will see what humans are truly capable of when we lose our patience completely. Europa was a demonstration, not our full capability. He turned and walked toward the door. Before exiting, He looked back once. We have been patient out of choice, not necessity. Remember that. As the door closed behind him, the room erupted in frightened conversation. For the first time, the other species were beginning to understand. They had never really known humans at all. Intelligence Officer Du Yun, Shin, sat in a dark room deep inside Earth's defense headquarters. Screens covered the walls, showing messages from across the galaxy. For years, her job had been to listen quietly to alien communications. Now, those communications were filled with one topic: humans. "They've gone mad," said a Vestran admiral in one message. "We must crush them quickly." "But how did they take Europa so easily?" asked another Vestran. "Our sensors didn't even see them coming." Du Yun smiled as she sorted through the messages. Fear was spreading through the Confederation like a virus. Her assistant, a young man named Gil, looked up from his screen. "The Ferians are asking for a private meeting with Earth representatives," he said. "They say they want no part in any conflict." "The Ferians are smart," Du Yun replied. "They know which way the wind is blowing." She tapped another screen, bringing up a message from the Nerites, the oldest species in the Confederation. It was coded at the highest level, meant only for the Vestran High Command. "The humans have hidden their true capabilities from us." The message read, "Caution is advised." "Too late for caution," Du Yun murmured. She sent the message to President Kang with her own note. "The Nerites are warning the Vestrans about us. They know more than they've let on." Another alert flashed on her main screen. This one made her sit up straight. "The Vestrans are mobilizing their main fleet," she told Gil. 45 warships moving toward the jump point for Sol system. Gil looked worried. "That's a lot of ships." Du Yun nodded. "Yes, but they're expecting to find a dozen outdated human defense vessels." She picked up her secure line to call Admiral My Son. "Instead, they're going to find our full fleet waiting for them." On the Confederation capital station, panic was spreading. Representatives hurried to their ships, eager to return to their homeworlds with news of the human rebellion. In a quiet corner of the docking bay, a small bird-like Kaldorian approached Mina Park, who was overseeing the final evacuation of Earth's embassy. "Ms. Park," the Kaldorian said softly, "I am Trade Minister Calvi. I wish to speak privately about recent events." Mina looked at him carefully. The Kaldorians were known for always choosing the winning side in any conflict. "What do you want?" she asked. "To offer friendship," Calvi said. "The Kaldorian Empire has always admired humans. We believe this unfortunate tension with the Vestrans need not affect our relationship." Mina almost laughed. Until yesterday, the Kaldorians had treated humans like backward children. Now they were offering friendship. "I'll pass your message to Earth government," she said neutrally. "Please do," Calvi said, "and perhaps mention that we have certain information about Vestran fleet movements that might be of interest." As the Kaldorian walked away, Mina's communicator beeped. It was Ambassador June. "Are we ready to leave?" he asked. "Almost," Mina said. "And the Kaldorians just offered to be our best friends." June's face showed a small smile. "They won't be the last." "Any word from the Vestrans?" "They've cut all communication, but intelligence reports their main fleet is heading our way." June nodded. "As expected. They can't lose face by accepting our demands. They believe they need to teach us a lesson." "They're in for a surprise," Mina said. "Yes," June agreed. "The question is what happens after that surprise. The galaxy is about to change, Mina. No one will look at humans the same way again. Isn't that what we want?" "We want respect," June said. "But respect born of fear is not the same as respect born of understanding." He sighed. "Still, sometimes fear must come first." As the last Earth personnel boarded their ship, news spread across the station. The Vestran Empire had formally declared war on humanity. "How long until their fleet reaches Earth?" Mina asked as their ship pulled away from the station. "About 72 hours, Jum said. Admiral My Son has positioned our forces near the jump point. When the Vesterans arrive, they'll find not the easy victory they expect, but the full might of what humanity has built in secret. Mina looked out at the stars as their ship accelerated. Do you think there will be much destruction? June's face was grim. Yes, but not on our side. Admiral My Son Ree stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Retribution. Around her, the crew worked quietly at their stations. They were positioned near the jump point where ships entered the Sol system from faster-than-light travel. This was where the Veteran fleet would appear. All ships report ready, Admiral, her second-in-command said. My son nodded. And our new weapons? Armed and powered. Engineer Hyun-ki says they will work perfectly. My son looked at the tactical display. 150 human ships waited in formation. Most were hidden behind moons or in the shadow of planets. Only 10 ships were visible, positioned to look like Earth's official defense force. The Veterans will be here in 20 minutes, she said. Send final orders to all captains. No firing until my command. We want to give them one last chance to retreat. The minutes ticked by slowly. Then suddenly, space rippled as the first Veteran warship appeared at the jump point. Then another, and another. Soon, 45 enemy ships had arrived, their weapons hot and ready. They're scanning us, a young officer reported. They only see our decoy ships. The main screen lit up. A blue-skinned Veteran admiral looked out at them. This is Admiral Vexkar of the Veteran Empire, he said. You have committed acts of war against our people. Surrender now or be destroyed. My son stepped forward where the camera could see her. This is Admiral My Son Ree of Earth Defense. You have entered our solar system with hostile intent. We ask you to withdraw immediately. The Veteran laughed. With what force will you make us leave? Our scans show only 10 small ships. This will be over quickly. My son's face remained calm. You're right that it will be over quickly. One last time. Withdraw your ships. Prepare to die, human, the Veteran said, ending the transmission. My son turned to her crew. They've made their choice. Signal all ships to reveal positions and power up main weapons. Across space, human ships emerged from hiding. The Veteran fleet suddenly found itself surrounded by 15 times their number, each ship larger and more advanced than anything humans had ever shown to the galaxy. On the Veteran command ship, Admiral Vexkar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Where did all these ships come from? He demanded. How is this possible? His weapons officer had no answer. His face showed only fear. Open fire, Vexkar ordered. The Veteran ships launched their attack. Energy beams and missiles flew toward the human fleet. Admiral My Son watched calmly. Activate shields, she said. The new defensive technology that Hyun-ki had developed sprang to life. The Veteran weapons hit the invisible barriers and simply disappeared, absorbed by fields that converted the energy for human use. Now, My Son said, show them what humans can really do. The human fleet fired as one. But they did not use their most destructive weapons. Instead, each shot was carefully aimed at engines, weapon systems, and shields. The technology was so precise it could hit a specific part of a ship without destroying the whole vessel. In less than 5 minutes, 38 Veteran ships hung disabled in space. The remaining 7 tried to flee but were quickly caught. All enemy ships neutralized, Admiral, her tactical officer reported. Minimal casualties on their side. Most systems were shut down rather than destroyed, as ordered. My son nodded. Begin rescue operations. I want all Veteran crew transferred to our medical ships. She opened a channel to the Veteran flagship. Admiral Vexkar's face appeared, now pale with shock and fear. How? He asked simply. You were nothing. Primitive. Weak. My son looked at him steadily. No. We were patient. We were learning. We were building. All while you thought us simple and dismissed us as unimportant. She leaned forward. Remember this day, Admiral. Not because humans defeated your fleet, but because when we had the power to destroy you completely, we chose not to. The Vestran had no answer. Prepare your crew for evacuation, my son continued. You will be treated well and return to your people. With a message. The age of disrespecting humans is over. As rescue ships moved toward the disabled Vestran vessels, my son sent a message to Earth. Victory achieved. Minimal casualties on both sides. The galaxy just learned what happens when humans lose their patience. 1 month after the battle, Ambassador Jun Kim stood before the Confederation Council again. This time, the room was very different. The giant table was now round, with all seats the same size. The humans no longer sat at the far end. The Treaty of New Beginning has been prepared, Jun said. He placed a data pad on the table. Earth asks all species to consider it carefully. The council members looked at each other nervously. None spoke up immediately. Finally, the Ferian representative, thin and pale, touched the data pad. These terms seem fair, he said, sounding surprised. They are fair, Jun agreed. Earth does not seek to rule the Confederation. We seek only equal treatment for all species, large or small, old or new. The Nerit representative, ancient and slow-moving, blinked his huge eyes. You could demand much more. Your ships control most major jump points now. Jun nodded. We could. But that is not the human way. We were patient until pushed too far. Now we ask only for the respect we should have had from the beginning. The Kaldorian representative chirped nervously. And the Vestrans? What happens to them? They will be welcomed back to the Confederation once they agree to the new treaty, Jun said. All illegal mining operations on other worlds will stop. All stolen technology must be returned or paid for, and they must reduce their military fleet by half. A murmur ran through the room. These were strict terms, but less harsh than many had expected. We have all stolen human technology, the Ferian admitted quietly. Must we all return it? Jun smiled slightly. No. Instead, we propose a new approach. He touched a control, and Dr. Hannah Choi entered the room. She carried a small device in her hands. This is Dr. Choi, Jun said, one of our most brilliant scientists. The Vestrans stole her energy technology. The Ferians took her terraforming methods. The Kaldorians copied her water purification system. The representatives looked uncomfortable. Hannah stepped forward. For years, I watched my ideas be taken without credit, she said. But today, I bring something new, something we want to share freely. She placed the small device on the table. It glowed with a soft blue light. This can clean radiation from any world, Hannah explained in simple terms. It can help planets damaged by war or industrial pollution. It's a gift from Earth to all species. The representatives stared in surprise. A gift? The Nerite asked. Why? Because that is the future we want, Jun said. Not one where we hide our best ideas out of fear, but one where knowledge helps everyone. He looked around the room. Earth kept its military strength secret because we had to. We won't hide our science anymore, as long as all species agree to share fairly. The Ferian was the first to stand. The Ferian worlds accept these terms, and we apologize for our past actions toward humans. One by one, the other representatives stood and agreed. Even the Vestran representative, new since their defeat, rose slowly. The Vestran Empire accepts Earth's terms, he said stiffly. We too have much to offer when we work together rather than against each other. Later, as Jun and Hannah walked back to the Earth Embassy, Hannah asked, Do you think it will last? This new spirit of cooperation. Jun looked up at the artificial sky of the Confederation station. It will if we remain strong enough to enforce it. But I believe most species truly want peace. They just needed to see that humans deserve their respect. Hannah nodded. And the Vestrans? They lost many things in this conflict, Jun said. Their pride, their special position. But they gained something too. the knowledge that humans can be dangerous enemies or valuable friends. I think they'll choose friendship in the end. As they entered the embassy, Jun received a message from Earth. President Kang had approved the final treaty. A new age for humanity, and the galaxy had officially begun. It's done, Jun told Hannah. No species will ever forget the moment when humans finally lost their patience. But perhaps they'll remember even more what we did afterward. Built a better galaxy for everyone. 5 years had passed since the day humans lost their patience. Captain Tae-ho Lee stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel, Harmony. The ship was Earth's newest and finest, built not for war, but for discovery. Tae-ho looked at his crew with pride. Humans worked alongside aliens at every station. There was Minji at navigation, focused and skilled. Beside her sat Kaldo, a young Kaldorian learning Earth methods. At the science station, Dr. One analyzed data with his Firian assistant. And most surprising of all, at tactical stood Solven, a Vestran officer. Captain, Minji called out, "We're approaching the new system." Tae-ho nodded. "Take us out of faster than light travel." The stars reappeared as the Harmony slowed to normal speed. Before them lay an unexplored solar system, with planets that no intelligent species had yet visited. "Standard scan pattern," Tae-ho ordered. "Let's see what's out there." As the crew worked, Solven approached him. The Vestran seemed troubled. "Something on your mind, Lieutenant?" Tae-ho asked. "Today is the anniversary," Solven said. 5 years since the Battle of Sol system. Tae-ho nodded. "Yes, I was there, though in a much smaller ship than I have now." Solven looked down. "My father was there too. His ship was one of the first disabled by your fleet. He still talks about how surprised they all were." "It was a day that changed the galaxy," Tae-ho said simply. "That's what I don't understand," Solven admitted. "My people were cruel to yours for years. We stole from you. We even killed your people. The Battle of Sol system proved you could have destroyed us all. Why didn't you?" Tae-ho looked out at the new planets waiting to be explored. He thought carefully before answering. "Humans had a lot of wars on Earth before we reached the stars," he began. "We learned that winning isn't the same as destroying your enemy. True victory comes when your former enemy becomes your friend." He gestured around the bridge. "Look at this ship. 5 years ago, it would have been impossible to have a Vestran officer working beside humans. Now it seems normal. But how did humans stay patient for so long?" Solven asked. 20 years of insults and unfair treatment. My people would have fought back immediately." Tae-ho smiled. "Humans are not defined by our patience, but by our capacity to endure until we choose not to. The galaxy mistook our restraint for weakness, our diplomacy for fear." He turned to face the Vestran directly. "We didn't want war. We still don't. What we wanted was respect. And sometimes, you have to show your strength to get respect." Solven straightened his uniform. "My father says humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy because you hide your true nature." "No," Tae-ho shook his head. "We never hid our true nature. Your people just never bothered to really see it." Their conversation was interrupted as Dr. One called out from the science station. "Captain, I'm detecting signs of primitive life on the third planet. Pre-industrial civilization." Tae-ho immediately moved to the station, Solven following. "Show me," he ordered. On the screen appeared images of small settlements, a new intelligent species taking their first steps toward advancement. "Standard protocol," Tae-ho said firmly. "We observe only. No contact until they're ready." "How will we know when they're ready?" Solven asked. "When they reach for the stars themselves," Tae-ho replied. "Until then, we watch over them, protect them from harm, but let them grow at their own pace." Solven looked thoughtful. "Is that what the older species should have done for humans?" "Yes," Tae-ho said, "but we can learn from past mistakes. This new species will join the Confederation when they're ready, as equals. That's the future we fought for." As the Harmony moved into orbit around the new world, Taiho thought about how far the galaxy had come. The humans had lost their patience, but in doing so, they had found their proper place among the stars. Send a message to Earth, he told the communications officer. New intelligent life discovered. Peaceful observation established. The future looks bright.